I've been doing these classes for over a year, these particular set of classes. And the workbooks have remained the same. There's been one or two adjustments along the way that I've made since the very beginning of the classes, but not much past that. But what has changed is me and my evolution and my understanding. So rest assured you're getting the best version of my evolution on teaching you guys what we're bringing forth today, and you're understanding your relationship with reality. Now, we all know that being human has its wonderful, gorgeous, stupendous, loving, melt your heart times, and they have your tragic times and your atrocities that happen to us every day around the world, to where you want to just get the fuck off the planet because it's too much of a shit show to bear. And through my own work, I've found a path that will allow you to understand your relationship to reality through what you are by nature and what you are by personality, a built construct on human, and then how we can change our relationship and live a blissful life beyond polarity and start discovering what the fuck you are by nature. It isn't some human, it isn't some victim, it's a creator, an eternal being of consciousness, of light, of love, of unconditional love, of creativity. You can label it 1,000 things, but just know that you are that. And this path will help you see those things within you and change your life forevermore. But I tell you right now, it's not going to be easy. There was a time where I was shied away from telling people it's not going to be easy because I thought that would scare them away. But I want you to prepare yourself that you're going to have to work on something that no one wants to work on. Recognizing yourself, and then of course evolving yourself, which is an arduous and painful task. But it is most splendid when understood from an evolutionary standpoint of mastering yourself and of course this incarnation. There's nothing more higher rewarding ever than you can have beyond the idea of self-discovery. I'm telling you, it's priceless, and we'll just work into that. So I was thinking about the workbook itself here. I'm going to cover some ideas at the beginning, and then I'm going to just talk a little bit after that. And then we can work into maybe a little bit more of the vocabulary. It depends on how far I go with this. But let's get some of the vocabulary out of the way. I use this as a foundation because I want you to understand as we move forward in the classes the verbiage that we use, so you have a reference point and confusion won't be set in. Because there might be particular ideas of double meanings or other meanings on some of the words and the verbiage I use. And to understand that, from where I'm coming from, you need my definitions, not the ones of the masses. Sometimes they might be a little bit different. So we just want to offer clarity, and we'll go forward with that right now. So the first part on your workbook, and don't worry if you haven't printed it out, that's what the recording's about. You can follow along if you have it printed out or pulled up on your screen. And if you don't, just listen, and then you can go back and study the idea, or listen to the idea. I'm thinking, where is it? Oh, here. Okay. Listen to the idea of the recording, and it'll help you fill in the blanks, if you will. Okay? And I don't know where this part went. Transcendence, vibrational tactician. There we go. Thank you. I was redoing my papers and I didn't put them away. The first word on our list is a fractal. Think of a fraction. You got a whole self. Let's say you have a complete number, the number 1. So if you divide the number 1, you get a half. You get 2 halves to make a whole. That's what a fractal is. We're a whole being, and we divided ourselves into two parts. Those two parts, one being your eternal being, God, creator, whatever you want to use, and then this human version of yourself. And it is a version. It's a version of yourself based off of your culture, your beliefs, what you were fed as a child, and all of that shit that you reoccur every day as your natural truth that creates your world. And I'm telling you, it sucks. There are good parts, but there's shitty parts. We don't want any good parts. We don't want any shitty parts. You know what we want? We want unconditional fucking love. So we have fractalized ourselves. That's when I say fractal, that's the separation to make yourself an incarnation from up here, swooping your focus down into a little body. You pop out of your mom and you're like in here and you go, yeah, and that's the fractal, okay? That's the self that you are. Your awareness is focused in this ride, your human body. As a side note, I recommend pimping your ride as you see fit. No regrets. It's a forgotten art, if you will. Okay, so that's fractal. A complete definition of it, a portion of the whole that manifests itself in a form of an incarnation. You've divided yourself. The idea of whole self and singularity. The whole is all of you, in all of your other lives that you've ever lived, your memory, all of your complexities, all of your everything. It's your wholeness. It's like here on earth, take your memory and put it into a wholeness. And that's your entire experience. Now take your infinite lives that you've lived from infinite number of fractals, infinite number of incarnations, infinite number of perspectives, and make that your wholeness. And you draw off of all of that wholeness to create a point of view. So all of that has been cut off from you. The singularity, the point of consciousness, that's you. A point of consciousness that is a creator. Here, as well as here. You're always one and all. You're a single point and you're a whole. Okay? Just when you're focused. The whole is everything that you are. It's kind of weird because humans define things in the past and the future. They define experiences then. It's always now. And that's a foreign idea to a lot of you. But it is always now. So everything you've ever been, you have access to now. You have ways to parlay them in your everyday life, to use them as advantages in your navigation of your journey here. We just been sold a bag of shit that says it's not. That you are defined by your actions and your resume and your history. And humanity will use that against you every fucking day. So you may care and love for humans. Don't give a shit about humans. Love the God behind the human and give them what they need. Your light, not your advice. Your charity, your joy, your love. That's it. Not your sympathy or empathy. Don't enable them. Love them, allow them to be their journey. The reason why I say this so early is because it's going to be challenging for you to change yourself in front of the ones that you love. Because some of your moral or defined obligations of behavior are going to come into question. And you're going to have the courage to go past that, to find you, to discover you, to bring your happiness to the surface. Our society says, serve others and then you serve yourself, because that's what it said in the Bible. That's what it said in all of the Bibles that have been on this planet. And there have been thousands of them. Not one or two or 10. Thousands. And it's always to serve another. But this is the kingdom. And if this is shit, how can you serve except a pile of shit? You got to know the kingdom. This is where we live. This is what we are in here. To know the self. Okay? Then you'll become priceless. Indispensable to others. They will need you. Not in the idea of lack, but the idea of attraction, the idea of giving them a spark of life to change themselves so they may see the journey they've chosen. So understand, whole self, singularity, single point of consciousness, creator, light being, light bearer. Number 3, incarnation, you're looking at. So when you use the word fractal and incarnation, they're interchangeable. But we use them both because sometimes a fractal applies more when it's considered a separation from itself. And separation is one in there, and I don't think it's until later. It's number 14 in the workbook. But let me just tell you what it is right now. Separation is this journey. I'm going to draw a picture for you. So we're going to use WS, whole self. Whole self focuses as its creative self. It's very difficult to understand because we're not magic down here. We're these physical beings limited to what we believe is reality. But what we do is focus in a co-creation. So let's say I want to go to Arcturus and I want to co-create with the species Arcturians. So I focus, and however the Arcturians are birthed, I go and co-create with a couple other fellows and say, hey, I'm ready to come and be an Arcturian. Anyone have an incarnation available? And they go, yep. And you go in with your little focus and you birth an incarnation as an Arcturian. And you experience the Arcturian life from its growth, from its birth to its death. Their average lifespan is 99,000 of our years. But to them, it's a blink of an eye. Because they're not in a rush. They don't have time. They don't have a memory that gives them the lack of time of hurrying. This is our idea of separation. See, when you become a human, HU should be an element, we forget. This veil that everyone's talking about in the ascension world is the illusion of yourself not being a God. Your reality is not an illusion. Don't ever think reality is fake. Reality is your experience. It's real. That's why we call it reality. Think about that. Don't discount what you experience as real. Nothing is false. False is a perception of the separated mind that taken itself and divided into a polarized perspective. We all know the joy of love, and we never knew hate. We never knew suffering until we came to human to where we forgot. So our separation gave us the master class of all master classes. The best ascending class anyone could ever ask for. The hardest incarnation, the hardest class you're ever going to ever take, because nobody else in all of creation until humanity came along figured out what happens if I don't remember I'm God. Well, that's what we're here for, to find out everything possible. You want a purpose of life? How about what happens next? And we get forever to fucking do it. Okay? So that's what an incarnation is. A created vessel of manifestation into a point of a particular focus experience. You can be an incarnation of a sun, you can be a planet, you can be a moon, you can be an ant, it can be a tree, you can be anything you want. It's a focus. And we're all creators, and we all have that inherent ability, not learned, inherent ability of creation. To create, because we are creators by nature. We give it the name God because it's comfortable for some people, because it invokes the power of what we are. Next one, covets. Wait a minute. This one is beliefs. A point of interpreted truth that creates the fractal experience in all nows. It's a belief system. A belief system has a divided notion about it. Let me explain. I believe in God. as this Savior. Jesus Christ is Savior. I believe in Allah. See, a belief. Now over here, there's another belief. That doesn't exist. So then you have two opposing sides. So immediately, if you understand that you are fighting against the opposition, if you are Republican and you hate the Democrats, then your belief system is that you are a Republican. And that's not wrong. That's the human journey. It's not wrong. What we're doing here is recognizing our human. How do we know you're divided? Is because you're looking at opposition. It's us against them. I can look at both sides and love them equally because I don't see them divided. I can't because I don't notion division anymore as a way to interpret reality. Belief systems always imply doubt, and they always have a counterance. Know these things. The belief systems are what you're going to learn about you, what makes you tick, why you attract the world around you, why you keep repeating yourself because you don't know how to change, because of fear, loss. All of these are belief systems that your ego, and we're going to use that word a fucking lot, your ego is selling you a story through the truth of you, that's the truth that you must choose. But somewhere inside, always a notion of no. There's another choice. But you've never been woke to that yet. You haven't woken up to that perspective. But now you have. How do I know? Because you're sitting in front of me. That's a vibrational attraction. Your reality played out in such a way that you're sitting here now. All right? So recognize beliefs. That's what we're going to work on primarily in the recognition in school, is to just recognize them. We're not going to do shit about them because we want to be assassins. Fucking the best assassins in the world on recognizing our targets, our belief systems, firstly, until we got them each and every time they rear their ugly head in any kind of circumstance, anywhere, any now, any reality that approaches you, you would recognize immediately your ego's truth that it offers you on how to interpret that world. And once you understand that, then we'll change it. That's the next class. That's transcendent. But right now, we're just recognizing. So beliefs. Covets. An accepted belief system through the truth of reality for the fractal or the incarnation's experience. I grew up Greek Orthodox. I believed in God. I believed in Jesus, and he saved us. And then I saw the Catholics, and they crossed themselves different. And then I heard about the Christians, and they didn't believe in all this stuff, and they didn't believe the saints and this and that. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Why is everyone not on the same page? I didn't understand why there can be another way, because everything that my mom and dad told me was supposed to be the truth. And it wasn't. It was a coveting truth that they gave me because I was born into that family. That's it. If I was black and born in Zimbabwe, I'd have a different fucking life. If I was China and born a girl, I'd be fucking dead. If I was Italian, born a man, then I would be that truth. You get it? Your environment creates. You covet what you see. Coveting is you see it and you understand it and you become that. That becomes your reality. How naive I was growing up, high school, and made a fool of and all the times because I thought these were the truths. How can it be different? God damn it! Why the fuck is everyone lying to me? Why is everyone so hurtful? Well, because we're all not gods. We forgot, and we have the ability to hate ourselves. So we use that against each other so we can ease our pain with the reverence of pride and prejudice upon another, to inflict what we feel upon ourselves to relieve the pain. We are a nasty fucking species. Nasty. It's a master class, though, to see what's possible. You've learned it. You're here now. recognize what you are, recognize what creation has offered you to know and grow and mature you, and now embrace the next version of you that you have stumbled upon through your own greatness that allows you to choose something beyond humanity. You always have the choice to be the same human and cycle yourself to an early death through rot and disdain, push up your damn daisies, and then die happily and go home and just do whatever the hell you do next. Because it's great when you leave here because you don't have this mask on anymore. And I'm not saying your life won't be great. You can have a great life and a comfortable life. And I'm saying, yes, of course you can. But in comparison, what is available to you right now, everything else pales in comparison. It doesn't even hold a candle to the ability of your light. There's no way. Okay? What time is it? All right. Speed it up, Roxy. Enlightenment. To see oneself as its own truth, beliefs, covets, those truths, to see oneself as its own truth and have the ability to make the change of that truth if chosen. So when I was angry all the time, blaming my parents, my brother for all the things, and they didn't treat me good. If anyone would have looked at him like, wow, you pretty much fucked her up, didn't you? And they go, well, yeah, we tried our best and blah, blah, blah. But that's the blame game. Those are cowards that look for excuses and a chance to be a victim. I am no coward. I am a God discovering myself. So I had to recognize that's my shit that I'm carrying with me. My parents had their own covets, their own beliefs. My mom grew up dirt poor. Her dad was killed right in front of her from a German fucking, during the World War when they invaded Greece, and they killed her dad. And her mother was stoned out of town because she was a fucking whore. Ha! They fucking stoned her out of town. She ran. So I guess my mom was pretty fucked up. So no one showed her how to be light. So she carried that on and put it in me. Because that's all I coveted. That's all I saw. That's all I understood. My mind was a sponge. So stop blaming anyone else and stop getting mad at yourself for what you are. And start from the intelligent point of view of waking yourself up and saying, I can do something about this. No matter how painful and arduous this journey is going to be, I know there's light at the end of the tunnel and it's fucking me. So carry that with you, masters. All right? So to enlighten myself, I say, I'm angry at them. I want them to love me for myself. Why am I trying to be a tyrant and make them do something they are not wanting to do? No matter what I did to please them, there was always that little bit of, yeah, but, that stung. But I had to get through that and recognize it within my kingdom. I have enlightened myself. Look at my guilt, look at my anger, look at my rage, look at my hope. That's my shit that I keep focusing on to create my world. I'm the fucking narcissist to myself. Maybe even a sociopath. Fucking nuts what I did to myself. But I didn't know any better. So not my fault. The master class, right. I'm doing this to grow me. Which took an insurmountable amount of trust to believe in my heart. And it was a belief at the beginning that I am a God. But not anymore. Because I've done the work to know I'm an eternal creator, eternal being. I am God. And so are you. Whether you understand that now in this fullness is not going to just pop into you. It doesn't matter. But if you journey on this path that I've laid before you, I guarantee you, you will find that moment of revelation that'll melt your heart and sink you into such knowing that there will lay before you no fears, no losses, no hopes, no needs, no desires, only the purity of your unconditional love reflected back to you every single second of your existence. And that's free for you. There's no requirements except you discovering yourself. You masters must do the work. Okay? Ascension. And I don't know if I mixed a couple up out of order, but fill in as you go along. Ascension. To gain a knowing of a particular now and move into the next unknown. Once I transcended anger, I've ascended that anger, and now I'm looking into the next part of me. What else? That's our evolution. That's our maturity. That's our Odyssey of Ascension. That's our epic voyage, ascending ourselves. So ascension is to gain a knowing, not a belief. You have to transcend a belief into a knowing. That knowing of a particular now, an idea that that moves you into the next version of the unknown. Masters, embrace the unknown. It is not a scary place. Fear lies in the future due to the past, because you come up with ideas on what could happen. How many great stories do we not hear of? How many feats of absolute accomplishments have been squandered because of fear? Immeasurable amount. Millions upon billions upon quadrillions of choices have been shunned because of one simple fear within the gestalt of that being that said, I can't. Because, and then you sit there in mediocrity and you rot. It's no more time for rot. It's time for self-discovery. So ascend is what we're doing. Enlightening is recognition, transcendence, and ascending to the next unknown version of yourself, to take out into the world and to express yourself. No matter what you think it is, your ego is going to tell you, this is not right, that's not right, don't do that, you can't. You got to do it. You got to be brave and you got to trust so you can feel the truth of you and navigate your own way back home. Because the resonant vibration, your worth, is always screaming inside of you and pulling you naturally towards who you are by nature. You just forgot. But we forgot really good. So it takes work to get back home. Oh, pardon me. Okay. Polarity. Welcome, Kevin. I didn't see you pop in, kiddo. Good to see you. Polarity, a reality that opposes itself within the measured standards of all who is participating in that reality. So here's the verse, one man's trash is another man's treasure. We all perceive things differently. We may have agreements with each other, but we always have our own individual measurement of reality. Our truth is not anybody else's. Again, we might share in groups, familiarities of agreement. Fine. But understand the singularity is its own truth. We've taken our truths and polarized the world to where humans, in their absolute audacity and their fucking arrogance, have taken their beliefs and they've placed them on the stars and saying there's evil aliens out there, there's evil ideas out there, there's all these good and bad things. And they write it in books and they preach it on pulpits and they scare you into submission. Fuck them! They don't deserve your light. You give them their light, then maybe they have an opportunity to change themselves. But do not wish anything of ill will nor goodwill on anybody. Take care of the kingdom. Everyone will journey within themselves, because that's where it lies. Don't forget the truth lies in the eye of the beholder. Don't try to let other people or make people see what you are and what you believe in. That's not your argument. Your argument is none, save the idea of you arguing with yourself to be what you choose to be. Don't do that. So polarity. good and bad, happy and sad. That's the way we measure reality, and it's going to be excruciating to tear down that. But it will happen. It's going to take allowance. It's going to take surrender. It's going to take a version of trust that is unbelievable. And you don't think you have the capability to trust to allow reality to play out in such a mannerism to where you can finally see what we call beyond polarity. The salvation of reality beyond polarity. How it resolves itself. It's called unconditional. Okay? And all of you can have that. Because it's what you are by nature. And this whole journey is about going back home. Seth said it best. If you haven't read Seth, the Seth material, or Seth Speaks, start there. Seth. You can get it on Amazon. Just like Seth Speaks, Seth. Any of the Seth books, and there's plenty of them. But I love Seth Speaks is a very good one. And if you remember this, Seth had said, when you are here and human, you journey away from yourself. Wake up and journey back home to discover one thing and one thing only, that you never fucking left. That means one thing and one thing only, that God, your whole self, creator, are right here, right now, sitting inside of you. But we have to take down, remember, that veil, those belief systems that you're not God, that you're some lowly human that has to be a footstool for some angry, arrogant fucking God. There are free PDFs of Seth that can be found on Google. Jennifer types in the chat. Thank you, Jennifer. Perfect. Okay, and they are wonderful to read. And look, when you start this journey and you start reading this different stuff, don't let your ego try to figure it all out in one day. That's the appetite of hurrying. Our society has taught nothing but hurry up and have fun before you fucking die. So we gain credit, we gain get this, get that before, so you can be happy now, and then bullshit. Take the fucking journey. There's no better feeling of self-disguising while you're in the now. Forget about the future, forget about the past, forget about where you're going to come and try to get quick. Stop. Live now. Learn that phrase. Be now and allow. Okay? So, we do cover polarity, okay? A reality that is opposed to itself within a measured standard from all who participates. I can look at something that says, wow, that's fucked up. And you can go, yeah, it's pretty fucked up, but not that bad. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's horrible. Man. How can two people have opinions? That's what bothered the fuck out of me, is when all these other people had different points of view when I was taught. It's like, no, it's not. Everything is supposed to be what it is. Nope. One man's trash is another man's treasure. You have your own kingdom. Start looking at it. Look at it with an observer of intelligence, allowance. The appetite doesn't need to figure it out. Slow down, relax. Subjective. A point of view of any single point of view. Remember, when we look at subjective points of view, when we say that, that means only you have that truth. Again, you have shared truths. But it is only your truth. The way you see the world is so fucking unique. It is the subjective truth of all. Everybody is subjective. There is no objective. People in meetings, we used to look at this. Now, come on, everyone, let's sit around and let's look at our problem objectively. How can we look at it objectively when we're all our own individual universes that no one else can share our point of view? We can all say this is blue. We can all say that's a red. We can all say that's purple. But guess fucking what? You'll never see what I see. Because you can't. Because I'm my own singular subjective truth. Cherish yours, Master. Cherish yours. It is your kingdom. All of my actions, every single day, thousands upon thousands of choices ridiculed by my own ego because of doubt and fault and punishment on my birth moving up to my own awakening. All cycled ideas of things that I coveted as that I am less than. No more, masters. So see those ideas within yourself. Know that they are your truths, only yours. Share them with none unless the moment appropriates it. But other than that, get busy on the inside. Subjectively, your truth, your kingdom. Start to understand it. Objective. The singularity taking its point of view and creating an external object as outside of itself. These glasses are outside of me from one perspective. But the truth is, I have created them from inside of me, reflected back in what we call reality, so I may experience glasses. So I may experience a cup of tea. So may I experience a pen. This is not outside of me. It is not an object. It is a reflection of my creativity. How weird that is, how odd that is, yes. And your mind can't comprehend the fullness of it yet. What we do here is we seed and nurture and birth and grow. And these ideas will be sown and you will reap them as time moves. Patience, masters, patience. Okay? This is a big one. Externalism. Assigning a label to an object that carries an emotional relationship as it relates to the personality, that's you, your identity, your ego. An externalism. It's a fucking dependency. You all know people that can't live without somebody else. You all know people that go apeshit if something doesn't go right. They are dependent on an external object that they have an emotional relationship, and if it is severed, they perceive loss and panic sets in. Anxiety sets in. Externalism. Jobs are external. Dependencies. Parents. Spouses. Children. Groups. Ideas. Because it's the way they find value in themselves through the act. Making yourself indispensable with another. Positioning yourself to be needed, to be wanted. These are external dependencies. It's attaching to an object, externalism. It's an identity, masters. Nothing more. Something you will recognize and deconstruct to reveal the persona that lies within, that needs no parade, no shoring up, no effort to maintain. It is what you are by nature. It's the vacation without trying to go on vacation. And every time you come back from vacation, you need a fucking vacation because you tried so goddamn hard to have a good time. That's not what this is. This is self-discovery of serenity, of unconditional love, of the pool of eternal happiness that never wavers unless you slant it in your own particular way, such that we have, for an experience of our own mastery. Okay? The next one is victim. I use 3 words to assign this definition. Being, B-E-I-N-G, being less than. That's it. Whenever you're putting yourself in a less than position against the external reality, the externalism, the outside world, you're creating a stance, a vibrational input into your vortex, that's your bubble of I am, of less than. And it's going to take to get used to change that. Because you put yourself as less than a million times and you don't recognize that. And it's not wrong. It's experience of choice. All we're doing is show you, if you want to, masters, you can change yourself. But you don't have to. Because there's nobody in charge. No one's watching. No one's judging. The only thing that ever judged is the fucking monkey inside your head called that big fat ego fractal of yours. That top polarity, and it lays upon your truth each and every day. And it guides you into a cycle of polarity and repetition. We can change that today. Today is our first step, and we will journey together. And the journey is hard, and there's many steps, and we will weather many storms. But we can do it, because we're fucking badasses. Otherwise, we don't come to human. No cowards come to human. So, next, ego/identity. That's the personality built from separation based upon one's accepted truths, its covets, during the journey of humanity. I was this, and I changed my truth here, and then I changed my truth there. But they were still egoic identities. It took me a long time to realize the only thing I'm good at is speaking, channeling. I'm exceptional at it. But I tried to be a whole bunch of other things because I thought then I would be loved by other people. Because that was my lack of my own worth. So I create these identities and I try to be something. You think I'm trying right now? I'm in love with what I'm doing. I would do this all the fucking time. Because it's wonderful to experience me without any buffers, without any efforts, without any hopes, without any need or outcome or parade of approval. There's such freedom of being yourself, but I had to dig and find it. And I had to take down the shit along the way. Every fucking personality I thought I was supposed to be. You know? I'm not supposed to be anything. I already am. I already am. God damn it. But the ego plants in you. Because society says, what are you going to be when you grow up? How are you going to improve yourself? Are you making yourself better? You have to earn my respect before I'll give you this. Let me show you what you got. Or show me what you got, please. Impress me. And here we are enslaving ourselves to the rules of some fucking society because some ass fuck was born into fucking inheritance. And then we got to listen to this fuck lead us. Bullshit. You're a god. You create your own world. And I'll show you how to do that. And it's as simple as authentic vibration, nothing else. Everything else will crumble if you stay true to thine self, trust the unknown, and express that new self that you have ascended to. That is it. You do that, and you're home free. I'm telling you. We'll work on it together. So that's the ego. When I talk about the ego, I'm talking about your belief systems that you shore up. I'm this, I'm that, he did that, that's me. I got to do this because if this hasn't happened, this, all that's fucking ego. All of it is an excuse why you can't be great. And we're not going to be rich and famous. We're not going to be anything. We have no idea what we're going to be, except we're going to find out what we are by nature. You're going to find your persona that lies within you. And if you have the courage to bring it out, you are going to be most pleased. You're going to be exquisite. You're going to be blissful. You're going to be so goddamn happy. You're going to need two of you to contain your fucking love. Okay? So journey with me, masters. So I have karma in here. Pay back whether good or bad. Karma is a perspective. How can anyone pay karma back? There's no karma god. I put that in there because some jackoff says, well, what about your karma? Well, who's in charge? What about the motherfucker who dropped the goddamn fucking roof on the 1,000 parishioners that gave their life to God for 50 fucking years, and they're dead. And the guy's walking around scot-free. I'm going to go kill some more people. Karma, my asshole. That's excuse, reason. And we excuse ourselves with reason and logic that give emotional relationships of satisfaction. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay, now it's okay. And then we rot. We've accepted a truth of separation. There is only divinity. No karma. Someone puts it on you, say, good. You have your truth, I have mine. And walk away from that toxic motherfucker. He didn't deserve you. They don't deserve your light. Grounding. Taking one's energy and connecting to the earth. Quite simple. I like grounding, but I don't do it obsessively. I do it when it calls me. I do lots of meditations, more than I've ever done, because that's the work in the advanced classes that moved me into that relationship. Before, when I meditated, I thought I had to do it. I was supposed to do it because that's what everyone fucking said, but I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And I can't take another truth and make it mine and try to get some kind of result of someone else's belief. Yeah. That's why I have to discover myself. Because I am the kingdom. You know, the kingdom of heaven lies within. I am that. So I had to go in and find it. Okay? So it's okay to ground. It's good to ground whenever you feel it. And whenever I meditate, whenever you meditate, and if you guys that are not already in the advanced class, but some of you that are new here will join the advanced classes, then, you know, we meditate without purpose. They taught us these ideas, these great ideas. So when the meditate calls you, you go, and you're not expecting anything because you know what you're doing. You're going to meditate, nothing else, and then the magic comes. The intelligence comes because you're not putting the walls of expectation up, looking for particular finites in a world of unconditional, trying to condition those things to please your ego. Not anymore. Okay? All right, relationship. How one interprets reality through the truth of the self in any given now. Seth talks about everything. He says these words, exact words. Everything is relationship to reality. That's the secret, is recognizing the relationship you have. You have a relationship with your dog, with your cat. You have a relationship with your parents. People call it human love. It's good. It's bad. They polarize it. We're not talking about polarization. We're talking about the belief systems that enable that relationship. And if you start observing it, you see how what it is for what it is. You start seeing the intricacies of it. My dad tried to solve problems. My mom loved problems. She never wanted solutions. So they were perfect. Because mom would come up with the problem and dad would come up with the solution. Mom would never do the solution because then she would have no problems. That's her identity, is life is hard and it's problematic. So she created problems, and dad is an ego guy who never thought he was intelligent, never thought he was smart, failed in a lot of things in his life, who thought he was intelligent and had the solution to everything and would tell everyone else they're wrong, right? And that's the way I grew up, is like, fuck, I'm wrong about everything because he's right and I'm wrong. So it was a perfect fucking match. He would always solve, she would always create problems so he could solve. And then she would reject and create another so he could solve. And it was a harmonious 53-year marriage of fucking rot. All right. It's all relationships. Recognizing the relationship that you have with the reality through your beliefs that gives you what you experience. If you could change that. A little side note, how would you like to feel no more pain? How would you like to feel no more fear of loss or gain? Never to have hope anymore. Never to look to the future and want or desire. Because everything you have now is bliss, interpreted. You have a relationship of unconditional love with the attractive now, which is only the vibratory change of your evolution. How can that be bad? And it can't be good. It's only going to be love. Okay? So now we're going to look at dependencies. An externalism that becomes a behavioral truth in every given now. You have to take an action with this idea. How many of you that are married like me, one of my dependencies is I thought I had to cook a particular way for Tommy each and every day. So I would do this and I would put myself under stress, and I didn't want to displease him because he's my first boyfriend, you know. I did, when I transitioned and when I was 43, I had my times with men, but it wasn't a relationship. But I had to know me first, so I got to know me and I got him, and then I brought up some of my belief systems that I turned into dependencies to please a man, because that's what I was supposed to be. So I had to figure out how to do all these things and make sure that he's happy. I had to recognize the dependency. I had to recognize the relationship. And then I can discover I can do it my way, a joyous way, without the need of the dependency, and still give him what he wants without him arguing. But Tom doesn't argue. He's autistic and he's just fucking love the whole time. The gentlest. I remember when David told me about it when we were at our retreat a few years back. He said, Tommy is just the most gentle soul. And I was like, that's perfect. No one has ever told me that. And he is. He's just fucking beautiful. You know? No matter what I do, he's not expecting. He loves it. You know? I had to see my own dependencies that I created in my mind to act and be a certain way. And a lot of my things that I was working through my life, sitting down, doing nothing for a couple of hours when I'm supposed to be purpose and I'm supposed to be doing something. God damn it, I'm wasting my fucking time. I should be being productive and trying to be better. Nope, I'm enough. And the only one judging is here. So I start recognizing more and more of my relationships that I've turned into dependencies that will create my world every day through obligated action that I no longer needed. Being authentic is what came to pass, and some stuff evolved and most stuff crumbled. Outstanding. Allowance. You'll learn a lot about this in the Transcendence class. Allowance is to surrender, to let go. It's to accept what is. Reality, the experience that is always here. Experience of perception always. You're never going to escape reality because there is no place except reality. Consciousness. Existence is reality. Okay? So reality is this. Everything you experience all the time. Okay? We don't remember when we sleep, but we go out and we're having a reality still. The body's sleeping. We remember sleeping. We like the rest because the physical body does literally rest. But we're out there experiencing reality. And we're ready to wake up. We focus back in our little bodies and reality. Okay? An alien. The last two are alien and extraterrestrial. They are two different ideas. An alien is any incarnation life, third density, fourth density, fifth density, doesn't matter. Any life that is not human in the perspective of being human. So when you are being human, something that you're looking at that is a sentient being, an incarnation, not an ant or a dog or a cat, except bees. Bees are sentient beings. They are aliens. Okay? A lot of them are fragments. Dogs, cats, they're fragments of collectives. They're not an incarnation of a being. So if I'm looking at a zeta reticuli right in front of me, then from the human, that would be an alien to me. Now, if I'm looking at an offspring of a human and a zeta reticuli called an extraterrestrial, that means that hybrid child, a Yael or an Essassani, is or has the presence of human DNA. An extraterrestrial is and ever shall be a hybrid that has the presence of human DNA. Alien, no human DNA from the perspective of a human. Because you can't be an Arcturian and look at another species and go, they're an alien. An alien is a human term. Everything you know about human doesn't apply to out there. What you know about human starts and stops with humans. Okay? You got to evolve yourself past humanity, and then you can take the stuff you understand and apply it in your unknown worlds. But right now, take these perspectives. So again, an extraterrestrial is any alien. Any alien. It's no longer an alien because it contains human DNA, so it becomes an extraterrestrial. It's because it must be a hybrid. The Zephyrs are hybrids. Okay, the Zephyrs are a hybrid between a reptilian and a human. The Essassani are the idea of Zeta Reticuli way off into the future. Now, in the physical idea of the third density are the Yaya. But the Zeta Reticuli are the Essassani in a different density, in the fourth density.